you done now?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cluedo Movie Podcast, where we break down the 1985 cult classic movie Clue, 1 minute at a time. My name is the boat Brad Gilmore, and this is a different episode this week. I'm going to be honest with you all. As we are doing this, I'm literally looking at a gaggle of seagulls. Would they be a gaggle? What are they? They're not a school, so they must be a gaggle. Looking at a gaggle or flock. Is it a flock of seagulls? Wow. Wow. Looking at a flock of seagulls and also some very white sand and some beautiful water in, of all places, Orange Beach, Alabama. I know most of you wouldn't think this would be a spot that would be a destination for a vacation, but it is quite lovely. And it's well established on this podcast that I am not the best with math. I thought we had enough episodes in the tuck to cover my vacation. And then when I realized we didn't, I tried to find a way before I flew out to Alabama with Jeff, and then before I leave back to Houston to tape with Jeff. Just hasn't been in the cards. So what we're doing this week is something kind of fun. We are off of the great reaction that we got last week for Juniper, who is our kind of spiritual third co-host now. Based off that with Juniper, we decided to do some movie pitches for Clue spin-off films. Now, those of you who listened to minute 88 of Clue the Movie Podcast heard us talk about, White Lies and Plum Pies, the romantic mystery comedy, I guess, between Professor Plum and Mrs. White. So what I asked Jeff to do, and what I did, was come up with 3 pitches for Clue spin-offs, and then we would have Juniper refine those ideas and kind of help us with the opening scene. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up my pitches that I have, and then I will get Jeff's pitches, and we will kind of mold them together in this podcast, hopefully to hold you over until next week when we can do minute 89. Because, guys, here's the thing. I know we look forward to the minute podcast, but this is great because it allows us to extend this show out a little bit more, because we're at minute 89, and then you have 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. That's 9 shows. We said we'd probably do something with the Psych 100 episode that covers Clue. So let's say that's 10 more episodes, maximum, you have of Clue the movie. So we want to definitely make sure that we get as much in here as we possibly can. So, what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull up Juniper now on my cellular. So let's bring her up. This is Juniper Sparks. Hey, Juniper Sparks, welcome back to Clue the Movie Podcast. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me back on Clue the Movie Podcast. I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Look, we are going to run some movie pitches by you if you would like to listen to my spin-offs of Clue the Movie. And I want you to refine the synopsis and help me come up with the opening of the movie. How does that sound?
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to hear your ideas for the Clue spin-offs and help you refine them. What's the first one you have in mind?
So the first one I have in mind is a movie called The Green Light. An undercover FBI agent goes on an assignment to capture the real Mr. Green before the events of the 1985 movie Clue. This is the detective caper where Green is trying to escape, the real Mr. Green is trying to escape this undercover FBI agent who then comes out to be the Mr. Green we see at the dinner party at the beginning of Clue the movie. So come up with a better synopsis of that and how the movie would open.
All right, here's a refined synopsis and an idea for the opening scene. Synopsis. In a thrilling prequel to the classic Clue, the green light delves into the shadowy world of espionage and deception. An undercover FBI agent is tasked with an urgent mission: capture the elusive criminal mastermind known only as Mr. Green. As the agent delves deeper into a web of lies, double agents, and unexpected alliances, the line between hunter and hunted blurs. The pursuit leads to a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, ultimately revealing the shocking truth behind Mr. Green's identity and setting the stage for the iconic events at Body Manor. Opening scene. The film opens with a tense nighttime chase through the dimly lit streets of a bustling city. We see the undercover FBI agent, whose identity is concealed by shadows, navigating the crowded sidewalks and dodging traffic. They're in pursuit of a figure who ducks into a seedy speakeasy, disappearing into the smoky haze. As the agent enters, the camera pans across a diverse array of patrons, each with their own secrets. The agent scans the room, their eyes locking onto a familiar face. Mr. Green? The agent moves closer, attempting to blend in while keeping Green in their sights. Suddenly, Green notices the agent and makes a run for it, leading to a heart-pounding chase through the hidden corridors and underground tunnels of the city. The scene ends with the agent narrowly missing Green, who vanishes into the night, leaving behind a cryptic clue that sets the agent on a new path, one that will ultimately lead them to Body Manor. What do you think?
Love it. Love it, Juniper. That is the Green Light, my Mr. Green prequel. That is a great one. That is a great one. I love that. Juniper, how does that movie end?
Glad you liked it. Here's an idea for how the green light could end. As the film nears its climax, the undercover FBI agent finally corners Mr. Green in an abandoned warehouse, where a dramatic confrontation unfolds. Tension peaks as the agent demands to know why Green has been evading capture and what his true motives are. Just as it seems the agent has the upper hand, Green reveals that he's been gathering intelligence on a far-reaching conspiracy involving corrupt officials and other players from the original Clue storyline. In a twist, Green convinces the agent that they need to work together to dismantle this network. However, the agent is torn between duty and the revelation of a greater cause. In a gripping final showdown, Green stages his own capture, allowing the agent to take him in as a hero while ensuring the conspiracy remains under investigation. The film ends with Green being led away in handcuffs, but not before he subtly slips a critical piece of evidence to the agent, ensuring the fight against the conspiracy continues. As Green enters the police car, he smirks, knowing that he's orchestrated his own capture to continue his undercover work at Body Manor, leading directly into the events of the original Clue movie. How's that for a wrap-up?
Juniper, you're fantastic, you're phenomenal, you're all the adjectives. Now it is time for Mr. Jeff Smith to give us his movie pitch about Mr. Green as well. Jeff, take it away.
Hi, Juniper. In the 1985 cult movie classic Clue, the movie famously has 3 endings with different killers. One ending, it is Miss Scarlet, and another ending is Mrs. Peacock. But there isn't an ending where the killer is Mr. Green. Can you come up with an ending that makes Mr. Green the killer at the end of Clue?
Sure. Here's a possible ending where Mr. Green turns out to be the killer in Clue. As the tension reaches its peak in the final scene, the guests gather in the lounge, where Wadsworth begins to unravel the night's events. He walks through each murder, detailing the motives and methods, leading everyone to believe they have an understanding of the night's chaos. Just when it seems the case is solved, Mr. Green steps forward with his own explanation. He reveals that, as an undercover FBI agent, he initially came to the mansion to gather intelligence on the others, each of whom is involved in a criminal conspiracy. However, as the night unfolded, he discovered that the only way to stop them and gather enough evidence to convict them was to eliminate the key players involved. Mr. Green calmly admits to each murder, explaining how he carefully planned every step to make it appear as they were killing each other. His motive was to dismantle the criminal ring and ensure that justice was served without implicating his own identity as an agent. In a final twist, Mr. Green points out that his actions were not just about justice, but also personal revenge. One of the victims had previously betrayed him, causing him to lose someone dear. As the police arrive, Mr. Green declares his cover as an agent, stating that his mission is complete. The film closes with Mr. Green leaving the mansion, satisfied that he has avenged his loss and brought down a network of corruption. How does that sound for a Mr. Green ending?
Juniper is on a hot streak, and I, again, want to apologize for the audio quality here. I'm sitting on a balcony, and you might hear the ocean and people laughing, seagulls, or a plane. But we move on to my next pitch, and this one I really enjoy. If you're a longtime fan of this podcast, you will enjoy this movie pitch. So I'm going to bring Juniper up here. Juniper, my next movie pitch, I want you to give me a better synopsis again and the opening scene, if you will. This movie is called The Gaelic Shrug. The movie is a coming-of-age tale where we first meet Yvette before the events of Clue the movie. This Yvette trollops through the French Riviera and gets into school where she is hired to come to America by Miss Scarlet to be a maid. Yvette first thinks, again, she's going to be a simple maid to Scarlet, but then finds out her real service. Miss Scarlet operates a house of ill fame, but Yvette is obliged to participate, simply giving Miss Scarlet a Gaelic shrug when she asks to be a part of Miss Scarlet's house of ill fame. And when she is asked this question, Yvette just says, "Oui, oui, madame," with her Gaelic shrug. Okay, give me a better synopsis of that, and how does the movie start? Let's see if she can do this one. This is a toughie. Real toughie,
Here's
honestly.
a refined synopsis and an idea for the opening scene for The Gaelic Shrug. Synopsis. The Gaelic Shrug is a captivating coming-of-age story that explores the journey of Yvette, a spirited young woman navigating her path through the glitz and glamour of the French Riviera. Dreaming of a better life, Yvette's journey takes a surprising turn when she receives a mysterious offer to work in America as a maid for the enigmatic Miss Scarlet. As Yvette settles into her new role, she quickly discovers that Miss Scarlet's lavish lifestyle hides a darker secret. A notorious establishment operates under the guise of high society. Torn between her morals and the allure of wealth, Yvette must navigate the complex world of deceit and temptation, ultimately embracing her role with a signature Gaelic shrug, all while learning the value of loyalty and friendship. Here's an idea for how the Gaelic Shrug might open. The film begins in the picturesque yet mysterious landscapes of the Irish countryside, where a dense fog rolls over a sprawling estate. The camera pans over the ancient stone walls and lush greenery, finally settling on a grand but slightly ominous manor house. Inside, the manor is bustling with activity as guests from various walks of life gather for an exclusive, secretive gathering. Among them is an unassuming but astute detective from Ireland, known for his enigmatic methods and the infamous Gaelic shrug he uses to confound both colleagues and criminals alike.
Wait. Juniper, I'm asking you to come up with the Gaelic shrug starring Yvette before the events of Clue the movie that we just talked about.
Here's a way to open the Gaelic Shrug as a prequel to Clue. The film opens on a rainy evening in a bustling Dublin neighborhood. The camera follows a shadowy figure darting through the narrow cobblestone streets, eventually leading us to an unassuming pub tucked away in an alley. Inside, the atmosphere is lively, with locals sharing stories over pints of Guinness. Among them sits a man who appears to be just another patron, but who we soon learn is Detective Seamus O'Rourke, known for his peculiar methods and signature Gaelic shrug. As the night progresses, Seamus is approached by an informant who discreetly slides a file across the table. The file contains information about a series of high-profile thefts across Europe, all linked to a mysterious criminal mastermind known only as the Enigma. The informant warns Seamus that the next heist is planned for that very night at a prestigious gala in one of Dublin's grandest estates. Seamus, intrigued by the challenge, gives his trademark Gaelic shrug and sets off into the night. The camera follows him as he arrives at the lavish estate, blending in with the crowd of well-dressed guests. The gala is in full swing, with music, laughter, and clinking glasses filling the air. Siamis quietly observes the guests, scanning for any sign of trouble. As the clock strikes midnight, the lights suddenly dim and chaos erupts as priceless artifacts begin to dissipate before the guests' eyes. Amidst the confusion, Siamis spots a suspicious figure slipping away from the scene and gives chase through the sprawling estate, using his wits and cunning to track the elusive thief. The film's opening sets the stage for an intriguing mystery, with Detective Seamus O'Rourke determined to uncover the identity of the Enigma and stop the criminals' plans before they can wreak havoc across Europe, ultimately leading him to the events at Body Manor in Clue.
So I will tell you, Juniper, I allowed you to finish that thought, but it had nothing to do with my pitch for the Gaelic Shrug. But I was intrigued enough to listen to what it had to say. I kind of enjoy it. I enjoyed it. Doesn't have to do with the vet and operating the House of Ill Fame and the coming of age tale, but I did enjoy the opening scene. So how about we move on to the General Jeff Smith?
Hey, Juniper, I had an idea that we could create a kind of parody of the 1980s cartoon Muppet Babies, but instead of having the Muppets as babies, it's the Clue characters from the 1985 movie Clue. So Miss Scarlet, Colonel Mustard, Professor Plum, Mrs. Peacock, Mr. Green, and Mrs. White are all babies living in the nursery of the mansion, and Mr. Body is their caretaker. What kind of adventures do you think the Clue babies would get into for episodes of this TV series?
That sounds like a fun and creative concept. Here are a few adventure ideas for Clue babies. Episode 1, The Missing Cookies Caper. In the nursery, all the Clue babies are excited about snack time. But when they discover that the cookie jar is empty, they decide to solve their first mystery. Each baby has a theory about who took the cookies, leading to adorable interrogations and wild imaginations as they explore the nursery for clues. In the end, they discover that Mr. Body had simply moved the cookies to a higher shelf to keep them fresh. Episode 2, The Great Pillow Fort Battle. The Clue babies split into teams to build the ultimate pillow fort in the nursery. Scarlet and Peacock use their charm and negotiation skills to gather supplies, while Mustard and Green focus on strategy and defense. When a playful pillow fight ensues, Plum uses his intellect to devise a clever plan to unite the teams and build a massive fort together, showcasing the importance of teamwork. Episode 3, Time-Traveling Trouble. Mrs. White finds an old alarm clock that, when wound up, transports the Clue babies into different time periods within the nursery. Each baby takes on a different role, like knights in a medieval castle or astronauts on a space mission. They must work together to solve problems in each time period and find their way back to the present, learning about history and cooperation along the way. Episode 4, The Mystery of the Missing Teddy. Peacock's favorite teddy bear goes missing, and the Clue babies spring into action to solve the case. They create detective hats and magnifying glasses out of craft supplies and interview their fellow toys for clues. Along the way, they learn the importance of taking care of their belongings and supporting each other when something goes wrong. The teddy is eventually found hidden behind a stack of storybooks. Episode 5, The Art of Imagination. In an episode focused on creativity, the Clue babies decide to host an art show in the nursery. Each baby creates their own masterpiece using crayons, paints, and glitter. As they explore different styles and techniques, they encounter artistic mishaps and accidental messes. In the end, they learn to embrace their individuality and celebrate the unique talents each baby brings to the group. These episodes could explore themes of teamwork, problem solving, and creativity, while incorporating the charming personalities of the original Clue characters in a playful nursery setting.
All right, we have 2 more pitches for you. That was Clue Babies, and I'm going to go to my last pitch that I came up with. And then we'll go to Jeff's last pitch before we get out of here. This is a movie called Mr. Body Takes a Trip to the Store. Before the events of the night of Clue the movie, Mr. Body stops by a local store in order to buy weapons and gift boxes he's going to present to the game piece characters in Clue the movie. While at the store, Mr. Body finds himself in the middle of a robbery, which causes him to be late for dinner. But he turns out to be the hero in this story. Let me hear a better synopsis of that and the opening scene.
Here's a refined synopsis and opening scene for Mr. Body, takes a trip to the store. Synopsis. In a comedic twist on the classic whodunit, Mr. Body Takes a Trip to the Store follows the notorious party host on a peculiar adventure that unfolds just before the fateful dinner party at Body Manor. With a mischievous plan to surprise his guests with personalized weapons and gift boxes, Mr. Body heads to a quirky local store. However, his simple errand turns chaotic when he stumbles into an attempted robbery. Amidst the unfolding chaos, Mr. Body must navigate a series of comedic mishaps, outsmart the bumbling robbers, and ensure his purchases are ready for the evening's sinister game. Little does he know, his unexpected heroism will cause him to arrive fashionably late, setting the stage for the night's mysterious events. Opening scene. The film opens with a shot of Body Manor against the backdrop of a setting sun. Mr. Body, impeccably dressed, steps into his sleek black car with a smirk, glancing at his watch before driving off. As he cruises through town, the camera shifts to reveal the quirky local store, a charmingly cluttered place known for its eclectic inventory. Mr. Body enters the store with an air of confidence, greeting the eccentric store owner, Mrs. Higgins, who is busy restocking shelves filled with peculiar items. As Body wanders the aisles, he selects an array of unusual weapons and charming gift boxes, his mind clearly focused on the night's elaborate plan. Just as Body approaches the checkout counter, the door bursts open and two masked robbers stumble inside. Clearly inexperienced and bumbling, chaos erupts as the robbers fumble with their demands, knocking over displays and causing a comedic ruckus. Realizing he's caught in the middle of this farce, Mr. Body maintains his composure, cleverly using the store's odd merchandise to his advantage. He distracts the robbers with quick wit and unexpected antics, turning household items into makeshift weapons and using his charm to rally the quirky store patrons into action. The scene culminates in a slapstick showdown, with Mr. Body managing to outsmart the robbers and save the day. As the police arrive to apprehend the criminals, Body, slightly disheveled but victorious, gathers his purchases and dashes out of the store, glancing at his watch with a hint of urgency. The opening scene sets the tone for a comedic and adventurous romp, showcasing Mr. Body's resourcefulness and flair for the dramatic as he inadvertently becomes the hero before heading off to host the most infamous dinner party of his life.
Love it, Juniper. And now we go to our final pitch from the General, Jeff Smith.
Hey, Juniper, imagine, if you will, a version of the 1985 cult movie classic Clue, but this version is written by Quentin Tarantino and stars all of the regular actors who appear in multiple Quentin Tarantino movies. Can you write the basic story and who the cast members would be of a Quentin Tarantino version of Clue?
Absolutely. Here's a take on a Clue remake with a Quentin Tarantino twist. Title, Clue, a Tarantino mystery. Synopsis. Set against the backdrop of the swinging 60s, Clue, a Tarantino mystery, transforms the classic whodunit into a gritty, dialogue-heavy thriller. When a group of strangers receives invitations to an extravagant dinner at a remote mansion, they expect an evening of opulence. However, their enigmatic host, Mr. Body, has other plans. As tensions rise and secrets unravel, the guests are thrust into a night of betrayal, intrigue, and unexpected violence. With Tarantino's signature nonlinear storytelling and sharp dialogue, the guests must navigate alliances and confront their darkest truths to uncover the killer among them. Opening scene. The film opens with an overhead shot of a dusty, isolated road. A series of vintage cars make their way toward a grand, ominous mansion silhouetted against the setting sun. Inside the mansion, the camera weaves through richly decorated rooms filled with retro memorabilia, finally settling on Mr. Body, who smirks knowingly as the doorbell rings. Cast. Mr. Body, Christoph Waltz, the enigmatic and calculating host who manipulates the evening's events, reveling in the chaos he orchestrates. Miss Scarlet, Uma Thurman, a seductive and cunning femme fatale with a mysterious past and connections to the underworld. Samuel L. Jackson, a grizzled, no-nonsense military man with a volatile temper and a penchant for violence. Tim Roth, a smooth-talking intellectual with questionable ethics and a hidden agenda. Jennifer Jason Leigh, a seemingly proper socialite whose outward elegance hides a ruthless and manipulative nature. Michael Madsen, a laconic and stoic businessman with ties to organized crime harboring secrets of his own. Diane Kruger, a mysterious and resourceful housekeeper with a dark past, always one step ahead of the others. Brad Pitt, the charismatic and enigmatic butler who guides the guests through the evening, harboring secrets of his own. Key elements: nonlinear narrative. The film unfolds through a series of flashbacks and parallel storylines, revealing each character's backstory and connection to Mr. Body. Tarantino dialogue. Sharp, witty exchanges filled with tension and dark humor, highlighting each character's distinct personality and motives. Violent twists. True to Tarantino's style, unexpected bursts of violence keep the audience on edge as alliances shift and betrayals come to light. Stylized visuals. The film features striking cinematography and vibrant set design, evoking the gritty, glamorous atmosphere of the 60s. Conclusion. As the night progresses, secrets unravel and the body count rises. In a climactic confrontation, the surviving guests confront the mastermind behind the murders, leading to a tense and explosive resolution. In true Tarantino fashion, the film closes with a shocking twist, leaving audiences questioning everything they thought they knew. How does that sound for a Tarantino take on Clue?
Well, you know what? We saved the best for last, and Jeff Smith comes in at the 9th inning with a grand slam walk-off shot over the green monster. What a phenomenal pitch. Love the casting there. We'll probably have to talk about it more when we can get together next week right here on Clue Movie Podcast. We're going to break down minute 89. But until then, I'm Brad Gilmore, the boat. He's Jeff Smith, the general. ClueDoc.com, theboatbradgilmore.com. And we will see you next week on, by the way, the number 89 ranked film review podcast in the United States, Clue the Movie Podcast. We'll be back next week. Thanks, guys. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my time here in Orange Beach, Alabama.